Let's talk about what's tipping the scales of justice. We got some shocking allegations happening in a Michigan courtroom where two men are accused of murdering 72-year-old Hussein Murray. He was the owner of a jewelry store, and the suspects posed as utility workers to gain entry to his home. Prosecutors say that the men claimed that there was a gas leak at the house. And look at this. It was all captured on Ring doorbell camera video. Now look here. Looks like a legitimate interaction with the gas company, right? Look how they're dressed, look at the documentation, but it wasn't. It was a ruse. Police arrived at the home to find the man's wife alive, but she was bound.
My husband, I don't know where he is. There are people that were here were gone.
What's your husband's name?
Sam.
Okay. It's okay.
Now the two suspects are on trial accused of murder. So how will the new video evidence tip the scales of justice? Let's bring in our legal eagles, Michael J. Brown and John Phillips. Okay, John, what do you think? What does that surveillance video do for the case?
Somebody asked me yesterday if I still get surprised by cases I either comment on or work on, and I was like, the answer is yes. Every single day is a new, crazy set of facts. And this is one. And thank God for Ring and what it's done to kind of help us, solve crime and tell stories. And this one is just wild. I was reading through the narrative summary, and it was just twist after twist after twist. But I hate to always say it seems like an open and shut case because you're innocent until proven guilty, but it seems like they've got the prosecution has a pretty good case.
Definitely. No, I know. It's sometimes, I know we've all been there. We've won cases we should have lost cases we should have won. You never know what the jury will do. But the video is pretty clear, looks pretty bad. Michael J. Brown, for these defendants, looking at it from that perspective, these attorneys representing them have quite a challenge, do they not?
They do, Julie. The only out I saw, I don't think Michigan has the felony murder statute, which we have in New York and most states have. So what that means is, of course, if you're going into the house and your intent is to commit a felony, and during the commission of the felony, somebody gets killed, well, now you're guilty of murder. In that particular state, I don't believe they have it. And what's the out? The out is the defense attorneys are going to point the finger at each other, and they're going to say, he's the one who did it. I didn't know that that this was going to be the result. My only ambition or goal was to do a robbery. I had no intent to kill. I didn't know what he was going to do. And therefore, they're going to play for that robbery or burglary charge, which is a lot less significant, albeit still significant, but a lot less significant than the murder charge.
Great points. Boy, Michael, thank you for that. That's something to listen for as we listen to what the defense says if they choose to present. What has everybody talking, I want to talk to you both about, of course, and that is the optics and the very large stature of defendant Carlos Hernandez, just towering over all of the deputies, all of the attorneys, everybody in the courtroom. He looks like he could be in a WWE wrestling ring or something. Just a very large guy. What does that do for the jury on a case like this? These optics here, did they look at him as big and scary because he is a really large guy? John, what do you think?
Yeah, there's two things. One, certainly he's got the tattoos, he's got the stature, but, a defense could embrace it. Sometimes you embrace the bad facts and be like, well, but, nobody identified this beast of a man, prior to this. And I don't know the particular facts, but he is a very large, kind of menacing looking gentleman. But, you kind of move along. Like, Keith Mitnick, a trial lawyer down here in Florida, always talks about embracing the horror. Like you hit the point and then you move on.
Sure. John, you used a great word, menacing. I was saying to my colleagues, Michael, I'd love to know what you do in practice when you have this happen. I was saying I'd keep him seated as much as possible, keep him sitting down. What do you think? What would you do with a guy like this if he's your client?
Probably keep him in his cell. No, what I would do, Julie, is I would...
That too.
Obviously, you want to shave. You want to dress him appropriately the best you can. John pointed out a great point about the tattoos, and if you have a turtleneck, if it comes that high, you want to try to conceal that. And maybe even put some glasses on, give them some intelligence. So there are things that you want to do from an optical standpoint and a perception standpoint that will kind of soften the blow and make your client look softer to the jury to try to defeat the initial human perception or assumptions that you pointed out earlier.
Yeah, definitely. And especially with the nature of this case, too. We're not talking about a paper case, some kind of a, just a theft alone. Robberies and an assault and a theft, as you gentlemen know. And so, yeah, bad facts for these defendants. And we're going to watch them soon as live court set to start up any minute. And speaking of court, you two fine gentlemen have cases you got to win. Michael J. Brown, John Phillips, thank you for a great show today. We'll see you again next week.